Do you have the right ingredients for a good night's sleep on the trail? A warm insulation layer, a sleeping pad that has an appropriate R value. Earplugs? That's just the tip of the iceberg and the things that are fairly easy to figure out. But there's one ingredient that might take years of trial and error. Finding a sleeping pad that's actually comfortable for you. Nobody is perfect. Well, we're not all built the same, and we certainly don't sleep the same. There's back sleepers, side sleepers, face sleepers. Some pads have great reviews, but you're never gonna know if your back is going to agree. I've used a ton of pads over the years. Air pads, foam pads, minimalist pads. This thing. Oh yeah. I feel like my back really benefits from the complete lack of support. Today I'm partnered with Gear to talk about what makes a comfortable sleeping pad and to talk about their new beast, the AeroCloud. Things to consider. If you're a side sleeper and you don't want your hip digging into the ground, thickness of the pad plays a huge role in comfort. The AeroCloud is actually a really good example of this because it's 4 inches thick. Currently the thickest pad in my arsenal. Also, side sleeping pretty much requires a pillow. You can get away without one if you're a back sleeper or a hammock camper. Gear actually sent me this nice little pillow. I'm gonna go over this a little bit later on in the video and compare it with the other blow-up pillows that I have. Number 2. The next one is one I struggled with for a while, but I've turned to the dark side. I've used 20-inch wide pads for years. I have tricks that I use while using 20-inch wide pads so that my arms don't fall off the sides. So I'll hold my arms like this, which doesn't work when you fall asleep. I sleep in shorts a lot, so hands in the pockets, or this is the one you'll catch some flack for. Hands down the pants. Just on the side, just so it holds your wrist. That one I do a lot. Sometimes I'll pull my arms inside my shirt so they're not out the sleeves, and that holds them from falling off. I put a lot of years into those remedies. All remedies for a problem that you don't really need to have. The best remedy is just to get a wider pad. Pads that have wide options available usually come in a 25-inch version, which makes a world of difference. The AeroCloud pushes this boundary. This is actually a 26-inch wide pad, so they just had to beat everybody else by 1 inch. The amount of comfort that this brings is a game changer for staying asleep all night long. Most of the pads I buy nowadays are wides because it's just so much better. It's the slight weight penalty what kept me away from it for so long. Always wanted the lightest, like coolest gear. Idiot. Baffle design is what set pads apart, right? And where many people disagree with others. I've thought that some pads were comfortable that other people disagreed with, and vice versa. So everything I say here can be taken with a grain of salt because it comes down to user preference. Testing out a pad may be the only true way to know if it's gonna work for you. Vertical baffles may contour to your body but might not provide as much support. I don't have one. Horizontal baffles like this will be more supportive but won't contour to your body as much. I don't think these are bad, but a lot of people find these to be uncomfortable. V-shaped baffles. I've always thought that these were like really uncomfortable when you first lay down, but in the middle of the night or when you wake up in the morning, I always thought that these felt great. And that probably tells me that they're just not that good. Whew, she's a big girl. Air-sprung baffles. I think that's what they're called. This is probably the most comfortable baffle system by popular opinion, and I believe that as well. They imitate a mattress the best, and they have the least amount of like pool raft effect where you feel like you're gonna fall off the side. Ultimately, it's very stable. Now, there's things about this that I don't really like. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but overall with the baffle design here, really comfortable pad. Gear is a relatively unknown brand, at least it was for me. The quality of their stuff is good. I wouldn't call it budget gear, but it's still not like priced up with like the premium brands. You know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern? I can't do a Jim Varney. In the summer, you can pretty much get away with any sleeping pad, depending where you live. If you start reaching colder temps or freezing temperatures, that's where you really have to start paying attention to the R value. The warmth of your sleeping bag is not enough to keep you warm if your sleeping pad is not sufficient for the temperatures you're in. I've taken many summer pads on winter hikes, and it's not that fun. You can always raise the R value of an air pad, though, by pairing it with a foam pad underneath, if you have one. But you'll need a pad that has an R value of at least 4 if you're going to dip down close to freezing temperatures. Some people may not agree with that, but I've taken pads that were R4.4 below freezing, and alright, it was a little chilly. So this has an ASTM R value of 5, which means it is what they say it is. It has insulation layer on the bottom. It has a reflective layer in the middle that reflects your body heat, and also it has fiber fill above that as well. I wouldn't consider this to be a true 4-season pad, as an R value of 6 is usually recommended for winter, but I'd say a solid 3-season pad. Some pads are kind of noisy. It may not seem like a big issue to you that your friends hate you. The Kilos is pretty quiet. My Thermarest pad, if I'm using that when I'm with other people, I put so much effort into doing like the slowest rolls possible if I'm flipping over, or just trying to keep it so quiet. It's uncomfortable because I want to move, but I feel like I'm waking everybody up or they can hear me. You don't have to worry about that with this. Not bad at all. And that extra loft, 26 wide. Yeah. Oh, also standard length on pads is usually 72 inches. And for you tall folks, long versions usually come in around 77. Kilos gear has to one up everybody else. Once again, 79.5 inches. This thing is huge, which is really good for me because I'm 6 foot tall. I am. But is it more comfortable than one of the most notorious pads on the market, the Nemo Tensor, which it bears a striking resemblance to? I have one, we're going to test that here in a minute, but first, some honorable mentions and some flaws. Material seems pretty durable. I know it has a 40 denier polyester on the bottom, like out here laying on this. I'm not even worried about popping this at all. A lot of other pads kind of scare me. They try to get really light and use thin materials. This one, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it popping. I feel like it's just going to last a long time. Double cap valve. I like this style, and I also kind of hate it. It's great for inflating and awesome for deflating, but if you want to let out a little air, it can be tricky. You just gotta shut it quickly and then like top it off with your breath. Now, I've had problems with this style valve in the past, not this brand, a different one. Nemo. My prediction is this is not going to leak. It seems like it's more modeled after the new valves that Nemo has, so I guess I can't really talk smack about them because they did change their design, probably because it sucked. But the new Nemo valves are really close to this. I like this one too. It snaps in really nice. It comes with a pump sack if you're one of those people. The weight is 24 ounces. It's not ultralight, but is it lightweight for what it is, which is a really thick, wide, comfortable pad? I'd say, yeah, that's not bad. Comparing it to other pads that are 4 inches thick, it's right there with them. To some people, 24 ounces is light. To me, it's not. But weight is not a concern, or if this is the pad that gets you that good night's sleep, then it's worth every ounce. Which brings us to price. Investing in your sleep is always a good thing. So this thing retails for $150. At first I thought that was a bit steep, so I got on, I was kind of checking other prices of pads, and I think it's appropriately priced for what it is. It performs as it should. Now let's look at the pillow that they pair this thing with. This is the Ultralight inflatable pillow made by Kilos Gear. I'm comparing that today with the Outdoor Vitals stretch pillow, as well as the Trekology A-Loof 2.0. This is $38. It's polyester, super soft, and it actually has a little bit of cotton fill inside these baffles here, which is what sets it apart from these two. This is pretty comfortable. I do wish it had a little indent like the Outdoor Vitals pillow here for your ear. I love that design, but overall I would say this is probably more comfortable because cotton. Not only does it have a pad strap that you put over your sleeping pad so you don't looking for your pillow in the middle of the night, it's adjustable, which is super nice because if I am using this on a 25-inch wide pad, I feel like I'm strangling the thing. I actually don't even like doing that, so I won't use this on wide pads. This one is adjustable. I do wish it had a little bit more adjustability, so I have it all the way loose, and it fits on the 26-inch wide pad there. So really, it doesn't need to be any looser. I just don't like constricting anything, but way more versatile than this little thing. I do like this pillow better than the other two because the cotton, it's bigger, it's got the strap. I do wish it had the little ear relief cutout that the OV pillow does. So the valve works okay. It's kind of got this little push tab on the inside. It actually has an indentation where you can twist it. It's actually really hard to get your fingernail in there, and I don't like that. But what I just do is I just hold it down and squeeze the air out. So it's really not like a huge issue. I mean, if it was a sleeping pad, it'd be, you know, something to maybe complain about. but being it's a little pillow, it takes like 5 seconds to deflate the thing. Valves on pillows, not a huge deal breaker. As long as you can blow them up and they hold air, I'm not real picky about them. These two pillows are gonna be a good bit lighter than that. I think these are 2 to 4 ounce range. That one's gonna come in at 6.2 ounce, which if you compare it to other pillows in its class, meaning ones that actually have like some cotton fill on them, that's actually pretty lightweight. I know the Nemo Pillow weighs maybe 10 ounces, something close to that, and let's be honest, it's probably not as comfortable, but 6.2 ounces, that's not terrible. I'll put a link to the pillow down below so you guys can check it out, but first, Tensor versus AeroCloud. These two pads have very similar designs. They have really similar valves, similar baffle system, except the Tensor is more of a horizontal baffle, I would say. So is the comfort going to be similar? There are heavier Tensors out there. The one I have is the insulated version. It's the regular wide version. And I believe the R value is 4.2. All right, let's try these bad boys. You can't argue with the Tensor's comfort. That is not bad. Even when laying on a hill. All right. All right, yeah, dude, this is not bad. I'd say that this one being more, the Tensor being more of a horizontal baffle layout, I feel like it gives you a little bit more structure, a little bit more support, so it's more board-like, which is a characteristic of horizontal baffles. If you like hard surfaces, these kind of feel more flat. This one is going to contour to your body a little bit, and I don't know if it's just a combination of the baffle system with how thick it is, but this you kind of sink down into a little bit more, not in an uncomfortable way. I still think these are probably the two most comfortable pads that I own. Really close. Overall for me, I gotta say the Tensor is still one of the most comfortable pads I've ever used. I do sleep on harder surfaces though. I like a harder, firmer bed, and I'm a back sleeper. So if you're a side sleeper, this might be your choice. I really like this pad. I can't wait to get it out in some colder temperatures and really test it. Click here to see my tips on how I deal with cold weather, and also down below in the video description, I'm gonna put a link to the AeroCloud so you guys can check it out for yourself. But that's it for the video today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.